So yes, let's get started. So, as probably gathered from my Discord name, Dexomus Viliana, which I have no idea how that name was created, but mostly people call me Dex. So nice to meet you all. Just by chance, I started playing Eve a couple of days ago, and Laura made an inquiry as to if there's any FCs available to have a conversation with everyone. And by chance, I was not really doing anything, and I spotted her message, and one thing led to another, and here I am. So yeah, nice to meet you all. Everyone calls me Dex, so you can ask any questions you have along the line. Please comment out. First things first, a little bit of housekeeping. As some of you may have guessed, I am from Glasgow, so I'm aware my accent is particularly strong. And unfortunately, Discord doesn't really offer anything in the form of like caption or subtitles or anything like that. So as an alternative, I've got this available in a kind of vague script as to keep me going or to give me an idea of where to go next. So anyone that has a lot of trouble understanding what I'm talking about, which is an unfortunate reoccurrence, feel free to just to ping me and I can send that script over for you if you're perhaps missed any information. And second of all, no Braveheart jokes. As you can imagine, I've heard them all twice, and the first one wasn't funny anyway. So, a little bit about myself. At the moment, I'm a member of Wingspan. And for those of you who don't know, Wingspan is a part kind of role play, kind of cooperation. The idea is that we're all employed by Wingspan, and we spend our days scanning down wormholes, going in, mapping wormholes using tripwire. And the idea is that we are Wingspan agents, and our job is to provide deliveries of torpedoes to any targets. So, and in any occasion we achieve that, we send them a receipt so it creates an environment, all sorts of comedy. It's all a good fun, all a good time. But what I want to show you first, if I'm not sure, Laura, if this will let me stream, but or yes, it does. So I wanted to show you a little bit about experience. And again, if this sounds arrogant in any way, please forgive me. But I just wanted to show you the kind of time spent in the game. I've been playing it apparently since 2015. So these are all the corporations I've been a member of. And the majority of them took part in a lot of covert ops, like a lot of cloaky activity. So yeah, I spent some time Capital Fusion, and Capital Fusion were part of a bigger alliance, which was Pandemic Horde, which were the kind of primary opposition to Goonswarm. But ultimately, when you spend a little bit too much time in a big alliance like that, you essentially feel a bit like a number. So after that, I just rejoined what I enjoy doing, and that's what kind of brought me to Wingspan. So, forget about me. First question I hear you ask is, so how is it you actually got into Bombersbar? So, on one occasion, very, very long time ago, I kind of grew a bit tired of the classic grind of doing everything you can to make ISK and kind of getting nowhere. So I decided to kind of take it in a new direction, and I wanted a taste of things, all things kind of PvP. So I subsequently discovered some online videos of quite large explosions. So I eventually became a bit bloodthirsty. So at that specific time, I think I'd only been playing like 2-3 years. I'd only ever seen Wing Titan. And I was kind of nervous about the prospect of even undocking a ship, never mind engaging in any sort of PvP. So I thought I'd try something new, and I mapped everything, all sorts of training, anything I could do to learn to fly a Nemesis, which is one of the bombers in the game. I read as much as I could, jumped into the Discord, asked as many questions as I can, and I joined a fleet and I saw 11 Titans in one evening on one grid. So ultimately, that's when I was hooked. As I went along, I continued to kind of learn the ropes, and I started doing other kind of roles within all the fleets, which I'll kind of get to later. And then eventually I became an FC or fleet commander and continued for maybe 2-3 years learning the ropes and kind of managing to secure a modest share of capital kills. What I'm going to do now is show you a little video. If all things go well, hopefully we'll not have any more technical problems. It was one of the best fleets I can have been on. It was one of those evenings where the kind of stars are aligned and everything just went well. So as an alternative, I've put a video in Eve Uni Public Help. What I want you to do is all go into that channel and go and watch that video for me. I'll give you all 10 minutes, because it's 9 minutes long, and you'll get an idea of what's going on. Right, guys, video should be done now.
We heard you in there, Dex.
So, before we carry on, any questions about that?
Yeah, what was the guy doing? He was just sitting out in space, or was he doing a site?
Far as we could tell, the guy was just doing a site. He was just doing his thing, and he was caught. But the reason I wanted to show you this specifically, as Laura said, you can feel on the team speak, you can feel the excitement when everything goes well. But I mean, that was 10 orcas and a super carrier in one evening. So yeah, those were the days when orcas were a billion, as someone mentioned. So I did write something down here saying Bombers Bard is in the NPSI fleet, but this is the kind of NPSI week, so you're all aware of that. I do have the link to the relevant Discord if you are not a member of it yet, which you should be. There is the link to the Discord. As you can see, 3,518 members and counting. So the next question I hear, obviously on a very basic level, it's a fleet where lots and lots of cloaky bombers gather and we find things to shoot at, which, as you can see from the evidence of the video, is a lot of fun. So in game, I want you to take note of this. In an ideal world, I would have actually been streaming this to actually show you the channel, but apparently my net connection isn't good enough. Or in this case, Afghanistan's isn't good enough. But so that is the name of the in-game channel. All right. So one of the most important things is learning to get your character, because it's a lot of skill points to get into a bomber. All right. But in that channel, in game, they have posted, or as part of the message of the day, we have all the relevant skill plans. So there are 4 bombers that are mainly used as part of as for the fleets. There is a Hound, Purifier, Nemesis, and a Manticore. So pick your pick, whatever you like, doesn't matter. You can pick whatever, I don't know, whatever your choice is, whether you think the Nemesis is the prettiest. The Hound, I believe, is the most powerful, or the one that wields the most damage. But it's entirely up to you. Whatever you decide, you train into that. Even if you've got maybe some savings to one side, you can inject into one. That's entirely up to you. It's not exactly something that's not done. But in this case, a bomber is one of the most valuable parts of the fleet. You serve as a torpedo. You are firepower. The more bombers in the fleet, the more chance of there is of killing something. So, taking the video as an example, the more bombers we have, the quicker we can kill the supercarrier. So the more people, the better. So it's like, obviously, it's a multiplier in itself. The more bombers you have, the better. Once you've completed your skilling into a bomber, pick a fleet, whatever you like. But the most important part of joining the fleet is just listen. Because at the beginning of each fleet, the fleet commander they call it a neutral speech. And what they will do is they will go through what is expected of you or what he or she wants you to do, whether it be cloak, shoot, launch a bomb, whatever it is. That is your go-to person if you have any. And on top of that, if you have any questions, please speak up. If there's something, if you're in a situation where I don't know what I should be doing right now, just ask. Consistently in any bomber's bar fleet, especially an armada, there is roughly 100 people on a TeamSpeak server at any given time. I've seen an occasion where literally the fleet has reached capacity. The capacity of a fleet is 256 people, and they couldn't actually accept any more people in the fleet. There was that many. So you're always got someone, and that is the beauty of the EVE community, is always someone's always available to ask questions. If maybe you don't want to join a fleet yet, the in-game channel, which I've posted there, the BB Bombers Bar, there is always at peak times I've seen 200 people online at the same time. So even if you have questions, post it in that channel. If there's something you're unsure about, do not be afraid. It's always the most important thing. No question is a stupid question. There is a full variety of fleets. If perhaps what was going on in the video is what's called an armada fleet, that has kind of multiple components. That's not just a fleet commander and a bomber. There are various different things that go on there. If it's your first time, I wouldn't recommend joining one of those because there is a lot going on. There is a lot expected in terms of bombers. There's a lot of people, things like that. So my recommendation is look at one of the alternative fleets. The main one that is an ideal platform for someone that's not done this before is a fleet called Habakkuk, which I always thought sounded like something you would get out of a chip shop. Can I have some Habakkuk and chips, please? But anyway, if you spend your time doing a couple of those fleets, that will give you the opportunity to get a little bit more confidence in navigating your bomber, how cloaking works, how to fire your torpedo, things like that. If perhaps this is your first couple of months playing this game. I try my best not to sound arrogant in any way because I've been playing this game like 10 years now, and not everybody's been playing it for 10 years. So whenever you get that experience and whenever you're feeling a wee bit more excited or you've had your fair share of Habakkuk fleets, take that step up and join an Armada fleet. There is 2 channels that are the most important in Ballers Bar. There is a ping channel and there's an advertisement channel. The advertisement channel will give you an indication when the next fleet is going to take place. And the ping is essentially, it's how it all works in EVE. The ping will go out whenever the fleet is up. Then you go on in the game. There is an additional channel called X-Up, which is, I understand that's a kind of a game-wide mechanism where you just put your X and they'll invite you to fleet and that's you joined. So, Obviously, I've said the word armada multiple times, but that can mean anything. So, what does the next question? I wonder if you're asking is what exactly is an armada fleet? So, Bombers Bar has a home. It's a wormhole 745. Don't ask me to remember the full wormhole code for it, but at its most basic level, how it works is that the team of people that are organising the fleet have scanned down a route from low sec or high sec to get to that wormhole. I believe it is a C2 for those of you who are, or a C3 for those of you that are familiar with all things wormhole. It has a static nullsec, but again, that's a question I can answer later. And what happens is that everyone, whenever you all gather in one hole, whether it be the fleet consists of 80 to 100 people, we all gather in the Athenor that is inside the wormhole. Whenever the fleet is prepared, the static nullsec is scanned down, and we all work to that static nullsec and wait on the 745 side. And we send a couple, depends who showed up at the night, we send a couple of guys out to go and hunt down a target. And that's it. That's essentially it. These players specialise. They are called hunters. These guys specialise in finding targets and pinning them down. If by chance, and again the stars are aligned, all things go well, a target is found. For example, in the video, we found a hell, which is very rare occurrence these days. What happens is, as part of the fleet, there is a block ship. So, and for those of you not familiar with a block ship, they generate a bridge. So they generate so what are the four? You have a marshal, you have a redeemer, as a sin. What are the rest of the block ships again? Our mind is going blank there.
Panther,
Yeah, Panther. Yeah. What was the other one?
Widow? I don't remember.
Widow. Yes, that's the one. Thank you. A widow is never used for reasons that we don't need to go into right now. But someone is going to be flying one of those ships on the night, apart from a marshal for obvious reasons. And you gather on the ship within 2,500 meters. The ship will create a bridge. You go into that bridge, and that will take you to the target. And your next job is to shoot and to listen to the FC. And that's it. That's on its most basic level. That's all you need to do. And again, if you need a reference to the kind of excitement and the chaos, have another look at the video. Yes, Gerg, it is indeed very funny. I also witnessed someone who was very rich was flying a marshal in that evening when he was asked to create a bridge he micro jump drived. So that was quite funny as well. But yes, so if the target is found, we all jump to that target. We bridge onto that. Strategy, communication, and a great deal of hope is deployed to kill your target. If the target is saved, we leave by whatever means necessary, whatever the fleet commander asks you to do. We go back into the wormhole. We'll roll that wormhole, and afterwards, another nullsec pops up. Scan that down, rinse and repeat. And that goes on depending on how successful your fleet is. That goes on for maybe 3-4 hours. But again, you're not obliged to stay for those 3 hours. You can spend maybe a minute and maybe an hour doing it. And if something comes up, or you're just bored, or something like that, if it's a quiet night, I was on the fleet last night, and I think out of 12 wormholes, we got one target in one evening. So there can be nights like that. That's just something you have to live with. But on other nights, like the fleet I'm about to show you just now, there is a particularly successful, there is a roam report from one of the more recent armadas. As you can see, 43.2 billion ISK was killed. So go and have a little look at that to give you an idea. But beyond everything else, beyond all that information, you're probably bored of me talking now. Beyond that, what I found the most valuable and why I did it for such a long time was the sense of community. As I mentioned before, during the Armada, you're often maybe 80 to 100 people. Last night, and I think there was 86 people on fleet. You are in the same team speak as people from all around the world, as very much we are just now. People from all around the world. We're just chatting away on TeamSpeak, sharing stories, and just trying to have a good time. And as far as I'm concerned, that's what makes it work. So I'm pretty sure you're all fed up with me talking right now. So what I want to do is give you guys the opportunity to ask me any questions about perhaps what else I've experienced or what you need to do in fleet. Anything you want. No question is too stupid and no query is too complicated. I hope so anyway. So entirely over to you guys. I will be quiet now.
Stuff to hear. Is Bombers Bar totally like a completely a pickup community? Like, so people from different corps join it,
Yes,
or do you have to be in a specific corp or
it is
preference?
an entirely public community. Anyone from any corporation, the only restrictions that you would have is the restrictions within your own corporation. For example, Goonswarm were restricted due to their CEO refusing to let any members to come on their fleet. But Bombers Bar as an entity, anybody can show up. Doesn't matter where you're from, what corporation you're from, whatever you like, you can go along, get a taste, whatever you like.
How do you fund it? Does everyone just fund it themselves and then come together, or does the community offer some way of sustaining their ships?
What do you mean?
I mean,
You finding it?
maybe some like any kind of services. Is there anything like an SRP or some way that the community earns some kind of, not necessarily profit, but a way to just sustain all their efforts?
Yes, of course it is. Yes. So the sustainability first question would be SRP. Yes, you are fully refunded. Well, you're refunded for the hull. So if you lose a bomber, you will get that back. There is, again, in the channel, there is a full bio explanation as to how to get you the refund from your bomber. So there is an SRP program for various different, right? Most importantly, the bomber. So if you lose your bomber, you're not going to be out of pocket for the hull. So that will be refunded to you. The second question to answer in terms of sustainability, that all depends on no, Gerd, you will not. Sustainability all depends on the target. So, for example, take that Rome report. 43.2 billion worth was lost or killed. There is a member of an Armada fleet, which is a loot truck, which his or her job is to collect any loot that's been dropped. That is sold, and the FC distributes a percentage to the people that fulfilled roles within the fleet, and a percentage goes directly to Bombers Bar to fund the SRP program. So yes, it has a self-sustaining program. So the more fleets and the more things killed makes it a better program. Does that answer your question, Shifty?
Yeah, exactly. And the last question I have is, does anyone ever pay the invoices that you send them?
No, sadly not. We have the receipts we send. We have a feedback form which people get to either complain about losing their ship or enjoy the comedy, because it is a very humorous role-playing aspect to the game. I very much enjoy it. It's definitely not for everyone because it's very nomadic. You're not in very many fleets, but you have no restrictions. to take part. People go offline for like more. Me, for example, I've only just logged in over the past couple of days after a 7-month period. Kind of real life takes charge. I had a lot of kind of family affairs to attend to, so he takes a back seat, unfortunately. But as part of Wingspan, you have no kind of obligation to take part in anything really. You can do what you want, which suits me down to the ground, considering the kind of real life responsibilities that I have. So
Yeah, of course. And I just thought of another thing to ask you is, I see when you sign up to the Discord, it asks you to pick one of the support roles, either a hunter or one of the other supports. And I was wondering, as someone who started getting into hunting or scouting and tackling, do you have any training courses or sessions where you specifically might help people develop those skills, or do you just join in and then pick it up as you play?
there is intermittent programs. Some of the hunters do indeed do their own programs, kind of take everyone out. I believe whenever the test server was still active, there were kind of training sessions to do that, but unfortunately, as far as I'm aware, that's now been shut down now. Yeah, the test server. On that note, I believe my dear friend Avenji is doing a talk or a classroom chat. Laura, am I right? I think I saw the advertisement. Avenji is going to come and do a chat with everyone as well. Yeah.
Yeah, indeed, it's on Wednesday.
Yeah. So Avenji is one of the best hunters I've ever seen personally. He has contributed to many of my armada. I think he's pretty much caught out any capital ship you can think of. So if you want to learn a bit more, I would highly encourage you to go along to that. But on top of that, again, I put back to there is over 3,000 members, and most importantly, everyone's always looking for hunters, Shifty. So I would more than encourage you to take part. It all depends on your preference, Shifty. If you want to ask questions about what you would prefer to do, anything you want to know, there is a mountain of information in that Discord. Whatever you would like to do, what ship preference, what kind of fits they would recommend, or if perhaps you've done a bit of hunting by yourself, you can make your own contribution. Any information is welcome. Is one of the kind of key aspects to it is everyone's welcome. Anyone wants to make their contribution.
What do you mean? Do you mean you have intel channels and then people feed you intel, or is it just?
We do have an intel channel. Yes, there is one. If perhaps you've come across a capital ship that is perhaps not doing anything, or a potential target. Yes. Yes. Does that answer your question, Shifty? Does that help?
Yeah. No, that's to me, it sounds like get to know the community and then get to make friends with the scouts and the hunters, and then they will guide you. Yeah, no,
absolutely. The more hunters, the better, because as part of an armada fleet, if an armada fleet does not have any hunters, then the fleet just wouldn't happen. So anyone wishing to become a hunter, you're not under any pressure or anything like that. The more the hunters are, you will be treated extremely well. You'll be very welcome to take part in that role if you wish, Shifty. But it's entirely up to you. There's no pressure or anything like that, because ultimately it is a community-based fleet. The more people that contribute to any of the roles, the better the fleet will run. So, hopefully that all makes sense to you guys. Do you have any more questions, Shifty, or anyone else? Anyone else want to know anything better? Anything more?
Liliana Hakari here. Is moving to wormhole space a requirement to join either Wingspan or Bombers Bar?
No. Wingspan, it is preferred that you spend all your time in wormhole space, but Bombers Bar, no, you have no obligations as to what you to do. It is a completely public program, so if you live in nullsec or lowsec or highsec, doesn't matter. It's not. You have no obligations. Simply just show up and take part. That's all is asked of you.
How is old Wingspan doing? Is he still logging on to Eve, or is he retired?
The old Wingspan, how do you mean?
The guy who created the core, the fourth best YouTuber.
Oh yeah, Chance. Yeah. He has he got himself a family, so the responsibility of CEO was handed over to someone else within the corporation. But he's still a member. He still kind of logs on from time to time. But he wonderfully got himself a little family, so kind of family responsibility took over, as you would expect. And but yeah, no, that was one of the things that got me into Wingspan to begin with, was these videos.
Videos are classic, dude.
Yeah, they are fantastic. I would, for a bit of comedy or something to put on in the background, I would encourage you to go and have a listen if you really not if you've got one of the videos handy, please feel free to post it in chat. If you want to have a listen, it's good fun. It's changed a little since Chance was around. But one thing I wasn't wanting, I didn't want to go into anything too complex. But I have a listen to that. That's one of, it's very old now, but Chance did a bunch of videos and it inspired a lot of people to join Wingspan. So you guys might do the same. But in terms of our Armada fleet, I don't know the levels of experience you guys have got, but would you like to know about some of the roles? Do you guys fly any recon ships or anything like that? I'll hand it. Like, it gets a lot more complex, and I don't want to talk too much. But would you guys like to know about the rules that take part in an Armada fleet?
Well, I know that you have certain hunter ships, but I saw something interesting. I saw some people use a procurer to go and scout. Do you do that at all?
No, not that.
It's some kind of like, it's like bait, because they have cloaks and they're pretty stealthy themselves, but then they set up and then people either come to try to pick on them, and then I think you can have a jump bridge. What is it? Where you can bridge?
No,
as well.
I think what you're thinking about is I believe it's called an endurance, or one of the ice mining ships.
The big ones, okay.
No. What are the little frigates that ice? Prospect.
Yes.
Yeah, people use that. I believe. I don't know the finer details because I don't know anything about mining ships at all, as you can imagine. But I believe the hunters use a prospect due to it can align really fast, and a key aspect to hunting is to catch a target as quick as possible. And because a prospect has the ability to cloak and essentially move fast, a lot of it, and it is relatively cheap, and it can sino. Yeah, a lot of people use, so it's a little unconventional, but it is used for like what it can do rather than it's like a conventional kind of like a cheetah or whatever. But Avengi is one of those guys that he's the kind of guy you would ask about a prospect. He can give you some more finer details about that. But I think it's more the cost, because I think a prospect is something like 20 million. So, and I've seen guys hunt in a Tengu with a full kind of a bunch of plugins, a Ascendancy set, which is something like 2 billion. So I think it's a kind of cost-effective way to hunt more than anything else. the rules in terms of a fleet, there are, I think of this at the top of my head here. So one of the most valuable is a Falcon. If you are well skilled into jamming, that is a welcome component, because the reasoning behind that is Falcon has the ability to a Rockel. If a Rockel, or if your hunter finds a Rockel, the Falcon can jam the Rockel and prevent it going into back into siege mode. So it's all about utilizing what ships you have available. So Falcon is one of the most valuable. A number of the other recon ships are valuable. Again, what are the rest of the recon ships in my mind? I can't remember now. Give me some information. Forget the name of all the ships here.
There's the Amar, which has the Curse and the Pilgrim. Yeah, the Kaldari has the Falcon and the
Rocco.
You have the Arazu, and then you also have
Arazu, yes. Arazu is often used for
rage.
Arazu is used for obviously point range, and I had multiple point. It has the ability to apply. I think someone can get it up to 80 kilometers, depending on how you use the Arazu. So 80-kilometer point is invaluable in itself. And again, the rapier for the webs. So they have various. Pilgrim is never used. So those three recons are of value. There is the Blops pilot. There is a loot and fuel truck. So if you have a character that can fly either one of those, the blockade runners, those are used. The fuel truck is to extend the period of time that block ship can stay out, so you can just refuel it. But again, that's a more complex role that you don't really need to worry about right now, if you've maybe this is one of your first times. Yeah, those are the kind of core components of a fleet. So, but is there any other questions you guys want to know? Because I've ran into 7 o'clock now. So anything else you guys would like to know before I head off?
thank you thanks for your time. That was awesome.
I'm glad we're in touch with players. Yeah, I hope everyone enjoyed it. I hope no one had too much of a hard time understanding what I was talking about. And I hope to see you guys on fleet at some point. And again, all questions are welcome, guys. Thank you very much for listening. And thank you, Laura, for the opportunity to talk nonsense for an hour.
Thanks for setting this up too. That's amazing.
Yeah, it was only last night. I knew about this. And apologies for the technical issues at the beginning. That was not something I expected.